Anyone who has played Plants vs. Zombies knows that with infinite sunlight, a pea shooter can easily dominate zombies. But why did I end up reincarnating as a zombie? Just a moment ago, I was watching short videos and playing Plants vs. Zombies. Suddenly, everything went black, and my consciousness was instantly pulled into another world. I quickly recalled some fragmented memories. The owner of this corpse was named Zhang Wei. Look at the tombstone beside me. That's mine. In other words, not only am I a zombie, but I'm also a zombie who just died not long ago. Others reincarnate as either cultivators or heirs of prestigious families. But here I am, coming over as a zombie whose body has already stiffened. Luckily, this miserable world still gave me a system. I was excited, wondering if it would be some kind of ultimate weapon or golden finger. But when I saw it, I was completely stunned, even sending out an emoji. Who designed this system panel? It's clearly made by a Plants vs. Zombies 2 fan. When I looked at the panel, my heart sank in despair. That's right, the system gave me a spiritual sunflower, and it proudly introduced that it can continuously generate spiritual energy. And that thing called Bean Brother shoots peas that are equivalent to the power of a perfected chi refining stage. Does this mean I'm supposed to become a Bean Emperor powerhouse? This is terrifying. I took a deep breath and gathered my thoughts. First, this is a cultivation world. Maybe there's still a chance to return to Earth. Secondly, if I became a farmer and planted a field of spiritual sunflowers, wouldn't I be invincible? Every day, I could wake up and just lie there, collecting 55 portions of spiritual energy. This life would be too good to be true. Just as I was lost in this beautiful fantasy, a strange voice suddenly came from behind me. Who's chatting in this desolate wilderness in the middle of the night? I quickly hid myself. If I got caught being alive again, explaining would be a real hassle. In the distance, a girl's voice came, pleading, "Please, let me do this last thing for my brother. Otherwise, he'll have no paper money in the afterlife. Please, master. This is my lifelong wish." A green-haired cultivator impatiently replied, "The person's dead. What's the fuss? Hurry up and burn the paper. Then come marry me." I recalled that the girl, crying as if her heart was broken, was my sister, Zhang Qian. The original owner had died while gathering herbs on the mountain to save money for her education. We had always been close. She not only knitted sweaters for me but also cooked our meals. Now, she was being forced into marriage by this guy. The green-haired man was named Lin Hao. He had just passed the Immortal Gates test to become a chi refining cultivator. Now, he was taking advantage of the original owner's death to bully my sister. Zhang Qian cried out, "Brother, you're gone. How am I supposed to live?" Lin Hao glared at her, furious. "You're a worthless money pit, wasting silver on a dead man. Hurry up and go marry me." But Zhang Qian didn't listen. After a brief silence, she suddenly kowtowed, smashing her head onto a stone slab. Lin Hao grabbed her, his rage burning hot. "I've already bought you. Who allowed you to die?" After saying that, he slapped her hard across the face. "Why are you crying? Do you think your brother can come back to life and fight for you?" I couldn't take it anymore. I crawled out of the ground and grabbed Lin Hao's foot. "How dare you bully my sister when I'm not around?" Lin Hao stared at me in shock. What's going on? Was something wrong with his eyes? But my sister wasn't afraid at all. On the contrary, she was overjoyed to see me. Lin Hao was confused. He had personally checked the body, confirming that it was dead beyond a doubt. But soon, he burst into maniacal laughter. "I get it now. You turned into a zombie? Haha, and you even retained your consciousness. Let's see if I can refine you." He laughed proudly. "One will be my concubine, the other will be my guard. I just love you two siblings so much." My sister, deeply loyal, stood in front of me with her body. "Brother, run. He won't spare you." But she wasn't a cultivator, and she couldn't stop him. She was quickly knocked to the ground, unable to move. I sneered, "Looks like it's been a while since you've tasted my punches. Didn't I beat you up plenty when we were kids?" He laughed arrogantly, But now things are different. I'm a cultivator. You still want to fight me with your fists? I snapped back to reality. He was right. This was a cultivation world. And my system only has a sunflower, no pea shooter. Against a cultivator, there's no way a regular zombie like me can compete head-on. But what if zombies can level up? Suddenly, I remembered the scene from Plants vs. Zombies. Isn't a zombie's fate to eat plants? Without hesitation, I grabbed the spiritual sunflower from the system and stuffed it into my mouth, chomping down. The next moment, Lin Hao's full-powered sword strike whistled toward me, but I didn't even try to dodge. How is this possible? Lin Hao's eyes widened in disbelief. My full-strength strike at the chi refining stage can't even break your defense? Just as I expected, zombies' destiny is to eat plants. In other words, by eating the spiritual sunflower, I had just leveled up to a chi refining stage 1 zombie. Realizing this, I couldn't help but smile. Lin Hao, you wanted my sister to fall into your arms, didn't you? Come on. I've paid her debt for her. Lin Hao was so scared his eyes nearly fell out. He hurriedly retreated, terrified. Spare me. I'm an immortal. Too bad he was nothing more than a pretty face, and ended up dying from fear right there on the spot. But that wasn't all. The system immediately popped up a dialogue box. Detected a corpse. Would you like to collect it? Without hesitation, I clicked yes. Congratulations, host. You have acquired a new normal zombie. Its attributes will sync with yours. This is amazing. Does this mean I can collect an army of undead and dominate the world? And my chi refining stage 1 attributes will even be shared with these zombie minions? More importantly, I feel my body no longer stiff, and it's much more flexible than before. Looks like leveling up really has its perks. I'm destined to be the zombie king. The next step in the plan was simple. Find a place to hide, then use the spiritual sunflower to raise zombies and slowly build up power. Fortunately, I still had an adorably sweet sister, but her state worried me a bit. Since witnessing my resurrection, she hadn't eaten or drunk anything for 3 whole days. It seemed she couldn't accept this reality at all. To her, this adopted brother was clearly no longer the person she once knew. In fact, she probably didn't even see me as human anymore. To confirm her suspicions, she kept asking me about the past. But no matter how she tried to probe, I couldn't give her a real answer. Yet, despite everything, she couldn't let go of me. She even received a system task. If I settled my sister, I would level up to a head guard zombie. Until one day, she spoke. Give me back that familiar brother. My heart jolted, deeply moved by the bond between siblings. Honestly, I don't know what I am now. But at least I know one thing. Making her happy was the wish her brother left behind. Suddenly, she slipped into my arms and whispered, "Take me with you. Let me see my brother." I felt a pang of helplessness. Strictly speaking, I might not even be human anymore. Even if I returned to Earth, could I still call myself me? In the end, she stopped causing a fuss and we left the place together, heading towards a new village. After arriving at the village, I demonstrated my iron fist crushes the wall, completely stunning the villagers. Even the old village chief had to admit that I was a cultivator. When I handed over the silver I took from Lin Hao to the village chief, he publicly accepted my sister as his goddaughter in front of the whole village. With that, I successfully completed my first task, settling my sister. The path to immortality is long. Once I make a name for myself with this face, I'll come back to take you. I also successfully leveled up to a 2nd-tier zombie and received a basic item, though the item was rather pathetic, offering only a bit of protection. When the east is dim, the west shines. Is something. The 30 spiritual sunflowers I planted provided me with a full 32 units of spiritual energy at midnight on the 7th day. Moreover, I was planning to plant bean brother and nuts, and even set up landmine traps. This meant that when enemies came to attack me, not only would they face the pea shooter's assault, but also suffer the retaliatory damage from landmines. With this setup, I was truly invincible. However, the system suddenly popped up a task named Zombie Horde, which got me thinking. I decided to find a sect and gather some information, so I pulled out a positioning item, but it didn't respond at all. On a whim, I switched to using my zombie subordinate Lin Hao and tested if he could use the item. Just then, I heard a conversation nearby. "These two-headed wolf dogs won't stop coming. How annoying." It turned out that two women were being surrounded by a pack of beasts. Their spiritual energy was almost depleted, and they were about to become prey. And they seemed to be cultivators. Originally, I wasn't planning to help, but the system suddenly popped up a prompt. Detected materials that can be used for plant absorption. Would you like to automatically collect? Senior sister, wait a second. Let me pick up a fragment. However, this scene was interpreted quite differently by the women. The two women saw Lin Hao, who had come to help, squatting on the side, slacking off. They immediately started cursing. "Lin Hao, what the hell are you picking up? If you don't come, we're going to end up as fragments." 3 minutes later, I finally placed the materials in front of the spiritual sunflower, allowing it to absorb them. As a result, the spiritual sunflower began to evolve. Moments later, it transformed into a double-headed spiritual sunflower. I stared in disbelief, my mouth agape. This was it. My system is a synthesis version. This meant that the output of my spiritual sunflowers just doubled right on the spot. More importantly, the system even has a synthesis function, which can fuse double-headed wolfhounds and spiritual sunflowers into a new plant. In other words, I can fuse even more varieties in the future. At this point, my focus was completely on the double-headed wolfhounds on the ground, calculating how many more fusions I could perform. I swallowed my saliva and grinned with excitement. "Don't be scared, dog brothers, I'm coming. I'll take good care of you." Faced with such great benefits, I didn't hesitate to grab a double-headed wolfhound by the throat with my bare hands. My senior sister, moved by my desperate actions, couldn't help but say, "Junior brother, you're so selfless to save us like this." However, I inexplicably blurted out, "Senior sister, let's talk about something. Can I keep all the beast materials for myself?" Senior sister immediately rolled her eyes. This was clearly her best opportunity to gain some affection. But Lin Hao, the junior brother, seemed to have gone mad. He fought the beasts up close with bare hands, charging at the enemies without hesitation, as if he had no regard for life or death. The two senior sisters watched in awe. There were countless men in their sect who treated them well, but once danger struck, those senior brothers were long gone, leaving only Lin Hao, who stayed behind to fight to the death. Such a heroic man, fighting valiantly for true love, perfectly matched the world's ideal partner. The senior sister silently cheered in her heart. "Go for it, Lin Hao. If you make it back alive, I might just agree to that thing." However, my thoughts at that moment were downright absurd, as if I had become a desert death god, punching down one double-headed wolfhound after another. When the last double-headed wolfhound fell, a chilling smile unexpectedly crept across my face. No one knew that the reason for my smile was I had finally collected 9 materials and could now synthesize 9 double-headed sunflowers. The senior sister's expression was completely uncontrollable. Was this really the same Lin Hao? He was so brave, but I mistook their shock for ignorance. I had just wiped out 9 double-headed wolfhounds, and yet they were so amazed. However, it wasn't until the senior sister pointed it out that I realized there was still a double-headed wolfhound hanging from my arm, and I felt absolutely no pain. Crap, if this keeps going on, it'll be exposed. If they find out I can't feel pain, things are going to get troublesome. My brain was racing, and I immediately forced myself to put on a painful expression. I even let a few fake tears fall. But no matter how I tried, the act felt completely fake. However, no matter what the senior sisters thought, the most important thing right now was to quickly collect all the materials and stash them in my estate. Looking at the estate filled with spiders, I finally let out a long sigh of relief, a look of joy on my face. With this, I could now earn an additional 9 units of spiritual energy every day. It was absolutely exhilarating. Just then, the two senior sisters blushed slightly and spoke up. Could we have half a double-headed wolfhound? I flatly rejected them, thinking to myself, I need to follow the trail of these double-headed wolfhounds back to their den. These two didn't even help, and now they want to take my spoils? Fortunately, there was still a mighty bear in the senior sister's storage bag. I could roast that for a meal. Speaking of which, Lin Hao's own storage bag also had one, though he still had no idea what was inside. At this moment, the system's voice suddenly rang out. Detected materials available for absorption by estate plants. Would you like to pick them up? As soon as I said, pick up, the massive mighty bear was instantly drawn into the estate. The two hungry senior sisters were immediately stunned, exclaiming, Where's my bear? I quickly apologized, but inwardly, I was overjoyed. Who knows what new and interesting thing the system would synthesize this time. But at that moment, a strange sound suddenly rang out. I quickly looked up, and a withered, bony hand reached out. The senior sister's face changed dramatically, shouting, Not good! The zombie wave is here. But I keenly sensed a faint trace of Shen-Chi, immortal aura, from the horizon. Above, a figure resembling an immortal silently gazed down upon the world. Wait, what immortal? This was clearly a double-tailed little girl. But before I could confirm the identity of the figure, it vanished in the blink of an eye. Meanwhile, the situation on the front lines was growing increasingly dire, with countless zombies viciously charging at the two senior sisters. At the critical moment, I rushed out first. Sisters, don't be afraid. I'm coming. I quickly synthesized the bear's materials with the pea shooter. Although the transformation wasn't fully completed due to the incomplete materials, it was more than enough to deal with ordinary zombies. With the added strength of the bear, I knocked one zombie back with a single kick. Then, I swiftly caught the senior sister with my other hand. However, facing the endless tide of zombies, fighting head-on clearly wasn't a wise choice. We had to find a way out. The senior sister pointed northward. There don't seem to be many zombies there, just some scattered, wandering souls. I nodded. As long as there weren't too many, I didn't mind giving these zombies a nasal pressure treatment, or a facial relaxation session, or maybe a foot massage and tie-back rub, focusing on relaxation of both body and mind. In the end, the three of us made it through the zombie tide with minimal danger, letting out a long sigh of relief. Seeing her young, strong, and not even out of breath, the senior sister couldn't help but feel a bit dreamy. Junior brother saved us. The favor is as heavy as a mountain. I have nothing to repay but my body. My heart tightened, realizing that I had probably overdone it. Did they suspect me? If they found out that I actually had no sense of pain, that could be a real problem. So, I quickly pretended to be out of breath, looking like I was about to collapse, and weakly said, Senior sister? What did you just say? I didn't catch it. The two senior sisters exchanged a look of speechless disbelief. Did this guy think they were fools? While pretending to be sick, I recalled the broken memories I had. It turned out that this zombie tide was triggered by a fallen heavenly lord, and as for the cultivation system of this world and the heavenly treasures, I still knew nothing. Seems the road ahead is long and full of challenges. Just then, a soft yet cold voice came from behind. Oh, so you're still alive, huh? I turned around, and to my surprise, it was Senior Brother Wong. Senior Brother Wong, a genius at the third level of Qi refining, had originally gone to seek reinforcements, but returned alone. I immediately became alert. Something was off. Sure enough, Senior Brother Wong slowly curled his lips into a malicious smile. Junior brother, junior sister, why didn't you die in the zombie tide? You made me do it myself. What a hassle. He sighed lightly, his tone filled with impatience. You three, your lives are just enough to trade for my status as an inner sect disciple. Inner sect means better resources, higher tier cultivation techniques. So, hand over the herbs you have, and maybe I'll leave your bodies intact. I sneered, the corners of my mouth curling slightly. So, you really want to force my hand, huh? System, pull out a spirit herb for me. In the next moment, I summoned a spirit herb directly in front of everyone. Senior Brother Wang's eyes instantly widened. This was the heavenly treasure he had longed for. He couldn't wait to stretch out his hand. "Give it to me!" I gently waved the spirit herb, smiling slightly. "You want it? Unless you can catch me." With that, I swiftly sprinted towards the zombie tide, successfully luring Senior Brother Wang away. The two senior sisters watched him leave, their hearts complicated. He saved us again, but he's heading towards the zombie tide. Sigh. Our junior brother is so strong. He should be fine. Let's head back to the sect. As night deepened, Senior Brother Wang still couldn't find my trace. He couldn't help but feel anxious. Damn it. Where the hell did that guy go? He hasn't been swallowed by those zombies, has he? Just as he was searching around, my voice suddenly echoed from the darkness. Senior Brother Wang, why haven't you come to play with me yet? Senior Brother Wang's gaze turned cold. The sword light flashed, and his aura, at the third level of chi refining, surged several times over. He sneered. What's the use of hiding? I've already taken care of the zombies here. Come out and die. I quietly lay down on the ground, pondering my strategy. What if I can't beat him? Well, I'll just have to hide. I promised little sister Zhang Qian that I'd make a name for myself with this face. I can't ruin this body for nothing. So, I decided to suppress my presence completely, disappearing into the forest. Senior Brother Wang stood atop a high point, looking around, his frustration growing. Damn you, Lin Hao. Why not just hand it over? Now I'm suffering because of you. At that moment, he suddenly sensed movement behind him. He turned to look, and to his surprise, it was a whole field of spirit herbs. Senior Brother Wang was overjoyed and didn't hesitate to rush over. Ha ha ha! Heaven is helping me. Now I can directly enter the alchemy pavilion. But the moment he pulled up the spirit herb, bang! He slammed into a large tree that appeared out of nowhere. It turned out that this tree was a trap I had set, effectively blocking his path. Senior Brother Wang was sent flying several yards, crashing heavily onto the rocks, vomiting blood uncontrollably. I slowly walked up to him, my tone cold. Abandoning your fellow disciples in a life and death situation and harming lives for selfish desires, you cultivate the way but not the heart. Senior Brother Wang tried to say something, but before he could, he completely lost his breath. I looked down, stunned. What? He died that quickly? I suddenly felt how terrifyingly strong I had become, and the system conveniently popped up a prompt. Would you like to collect the corpse? Of course I would. This meant that his undead army would gain a new general, and it seemed I was one step closer to my Shadow King goal. But the biggest gain this time was Senior Brother Wang's storage bag. Not only did it contain a large amount of spirit stones, but also the basic cultivation techniques of the Bichuan sect. There was even half a strength bear. This meant I could finally complete the synthesis of Bean D. More importantly, there was a map of the herbs they had gathered this time. Looking at the map, I thought to myself, so, the caves where the double-headed wolf pack resides might have more spirit herbs? My eyes flickered. This meant I could combine all the spirit herbs into double-headed spirit herbs. As I ventured deeper into the cave, lighting a faint candle to get a better look at my surroundings, I was completely stunned. What the hell is going on here? As soon as I entered the cave, I was surrounded. Countless cold, bloodthirsty eyes of double-headed wolves locked onto me, and the air was thick with the stench of impending death. If the wolves rushed at me, I'd be torn to pieces for sure. But soon, I noticed something odd. I gently lifted the candle in my hand, and the wolves' eyes followed it. I moved the candle to the right, and their gazes shifted to the right as well. These wolves were drawn to the candlelight. A slight smile tugged at my lips, and I suddenly tossed the candle into the distance. Taking advantage of the wolves' distraction, I swiftly drew my blade and struck like lightning. Moments later, the cave fell silent. I had slaughtered the entire wolf pack. A few hours later, all 5 rows of spirit herbs had evolved into double-headed spirit herbs. Looking at the results before me, I fell into deep thought. Wait, my cultivation method so far has always been body cultivation. Can I even cultivate immortality? If I can, could I be the first zombie to practice cultivation? Combining the cultivation methods and Senior Brother Wang's memories, I understood the Qi refining stage. To reach Qi refining level 9 and absorb a foundational item, one can advance to the foundation establishment stage. The double-headed spirit herb produces 60 units of spirit energy per day, plus 1 unit of natural spirit energy, totaling 61 units. With 1 unit of natural spirit energy as the base, the required energy for each level of advancement is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, and 256. I've consumed 5 spirit herbs, and the 5 units of energy in my body have allowed me to cross into the 3rd level of Qi refining. However, I haven't practiced the cultivation method yet and can't fully utilize the corresponding power. To begin the cultivation of immortality, one must first sense the world with their spiritual root. The higher the spiritual root, the stronger the perception, and the higher the talent. Above that are the various immortal physiques and celestial bodies, which, when born, will cause heavenly phenomena, marking them as future sect leaders of major sects. Although I can synchronize the collected zombie templates to Zhang Wei's body, Zhang Wei's physique cannot cultivate, which is my biggest shortcoming. I've been dead for so long that even zombies consider me one of their own. If those powerful beings discover me, my fate will not be good. I might even be ground into powder because of my resurrection and turned into some kind of aphrodisiac. If only I could grow divine herbs myself, plant 54 of them, and sell them. Wait, task 2. My body can move freely in the zombie tide, but because of some unexpected benefit, it's been judged as completed. Great, it seems the zombie body isn't completely useless. So the result is clear. Whether it's the reward from Senior Brother Wang's task before he died, or solving Zhang Wei's cultivation problem, both required joining the inner sect. 3 days later, a group of people was surrounding and attacking a severely wounded man. If you bring your father's axe, we'll see if we can spare you. I slowly walked up from behind the man. I touched the man's head, checked, and realized he was beyond saving. His injuries were too severe. In my world, there were also 3 demons who killed another boy in the same way. I was powerless to stop them there, but in this world, I would make them pay. Who's this bastard? Come at me. I'll call my uncle over. In the next instant, I grabbed his face and tore it off, making him scream in agony. I'm sorry. Please spare me. I know I was wrong. You didn't realize your mistake. You only realized you're about to die. They've received the punishment they deserve, but it's still not enough. Can you hold on? The body transfer is complete, and the original identity of this body is, and so, I transferred into this man who was on the brink of death. His original name was Wang Fa. I needed a fresh body, one that had just died, to lower the chances of my true identity being discovered. During these 3 days, there were people I couldn't bring myself to kill, but I also couldn't just ignore them. For scum like them, there's no need to talk about morality. According to Senior Brother Wang's map, there was a trace of the 2nd wild strength bear nearby. You'll be the bait. No, please. Help. Spare me. I'll be your servant. I won't spare you, even as a ghost. What a kind and gentle child, not leaving any tasks of revenge before dying. Sigh. And so I arrived at the Bichuan sect. Next applicant. I am Wang Fa, 13 years old, here to join Bichuan sect, seeking a chance at immortality. There are 56 children who applied to join Bichuan sect this time. Some of you arrived here by sheer willpower, some were recommended by their families, and others came purely by luck. Among mortals, only 3 out of 100 can walk the path of immortality. Those with exceptional talent are 1 in a million. But cultivation isn't only about talent. Alchemy, weapon forging, cultivating the mind and the Tao, whether great or small, all are paths of righteousness. After 3 years in the sect, it was finally my turn to show my strength in front of mortals. Who would have thought that the zombie tide would suddenly erupt? The elders went off to monitor the surroundings and haven't returned yet. Next, there are 3 assessments in the sect. Let's see how my spiritual shuttle performs. At that moment, a figure riding a crane flew overhead, shouting, "Hold on! Inner disciple Wang Yiling, greetings to Elder Ma. None of the candidates this year show exceptional talent. Send them all away. Elder Ma, our sect's sub-branches are stationed in the 10,000 mountains by the order of the main sect. Every mountain peak is short-handed. Every year we send thousands for the assessment, but once the zombie tide is settled, everyone will return to the main sect. By then, the sect will only have those of average talent. Who will manage things?" After speaking, Elder Ma waved his hand, releasing a group of children. Wang Yiling was stunned and quickly used a foundation-building secret technique. Sleeve contained magic. Elder Ma pointed at the children, saying, "These are the ones who will undergo the assessment." Just then, a flying sword came toward them. A voice echoed, "For the sex assessment, why is Elder Ma getting involved? How much benefit have you taken from the local landlords?" Jiang's eldest disciple, Jiang Ziyue, "Has nothing to do with me, Ma. But does it concern you, Jiang?" Arriving at the branch sect and temporarily taking the place of the sect leader, Elder Ma was really enjoying his power trip. Elders, who are transcendent beings among mortals, shouldn't be using their status to make things difficult for children. Wang Yiling respectfully saluted, "Greetings, senior sister." Elder Ma's face darkened, his voice cold. "Relying on your master being the head of our sect's sword pavilion, you dare to disrespect an elder? It seems you're not willing to back down." "Back down?" Wang Yiling sneered. "I am a disciple of the sword pavilion, master of righteousness. Cannot tolerate anything vile. When I see injustice, how could I not intervene?" "Very well," Elder Ma snorted. "Then I will stand in for your master and test how your cultivation has progressed over the past 6 months." I leisurely ate watermelon, watching the drama unfold. Our sword pavilion's direct disciple, fighting against a distant branch sect elder. This is going to be interesting. Come on, fight already. Sisters, if you're not going to fight, at least explain what's going on. Look, one's a sect elder, the other a late-stage talent. What are their cultivation levels? What's their likelihood of winning? What skills do they specialize in? What famous battles have they fought? Once this battle ends, will it trigger more grudges? Are there any other highlights? You're so dumb. Who are you, little brat? Do you think you can treat your senior sister like an entertainer? If you disrespect immortals like this, you might as well not bother with the entry exam. Not at all. I quickly interrupted. Elder Ma's magical arts are divine, and senior sister's talent is unmatched. It's something everyone yearns for. I'm only gathering information to strengthen my resolve on the path to immortality. The fate of a person is like floating clouds in the sky, without roots, constantly changing. Ordinary mortals are as numerous as the fish in the river. Who can know if there is a hidden dragon among them? If one meddles rashly, they might disturb the karma of others. Let all the disciples take the exam together. Ziyue, you have a broad mind. With you, the Chibian sect is truly fortunate. The so-called holy sons and holy daughters of the Holy Lands are no different. But this ignorant kid has an impure nature. If he steps onto the path of immortality, he will likely stir up bloodshed and become a devil everyone wants to slay. I do see some talent in him. Come here, let me take a look. He's quite tall, around 175 centimeters, just about the same as my original body. The sex food is really good. Strange, he has an average fire elemental root, and his walking pace is steady with a deep aura, good for body refinement. But his meridian pulse is so weak it's nearly undetectable. Wang Fei's body was immediately transformed by me, kept warm so no one would notice. Report, my mother was pregnant for 7 months, but my father was in a hurry to have me out to play cards with him. I was born premature, weak and sickly, but one day during a strong wind, I was blown off a cliff and ate a glowing plant. Since then, I've had immense strength. Oh, looks like he really had some strange encounter. He must think of himself as the destined one. No wonder he speaks so arrogantly. Ziyue thought for a moment and then attacked me. Let's see your strength. I swiftly countered with a shoulder throw. The move made Ziyue's face turn bright red with embarrassment. She kicked me in anger. It seems we should trouble Elder Ma to test it out. You can attack with all your strength. If you perform well, I might take you as a servant. Do you really want to use all your strength? I'm afraid I might hurt Elder Ma. Don't worry, Elder Ma is not the kind of person who would stoop to your level. Alright, I also want to know how much power I have now. I'll give it my all with this punch. With the strength of a level 3 chi condensation zombie body, 10 beans, 2 giant strength bears, 2 potatoes, and 4 squashes, with this punch, I will open the path to immortality. Not bad for your age, but let's see just how much strength you really have. Wang Yiling quickly advised, Brother, maybe it's better to let this go. Elder Ma is a powerful cultivator in the foundation establishment stage. If you act against him, that's disrespecting the hierarchy. Even if you join the sect, you'll likely be ostracized. Ziyue spoke confidently. Don't worry, Elder Ma is not petty. If you join my sword sect, I'll personally take you to apologize to Elder Ma. Of course, no problem. I've placed my zombie body in the corpse tide, and I can hide it in a hole whenever danger arises. I'll control the body later to investigate. What's the cause of the corpse tide? Is it related to my resurrection? There must be great benefits in the corpse tide. Otherwise, why would these sects establish permanent branches here? And that girl I saw when the tide broke out. So, with no hesitation, I threw my full power into this punch. Elder Ma's face darkened, and he muttered to himself, This kid has no sense of danger. The next moment, Elder Ma's expression changed, his eyes widening. This punch seems to have the power of a mid-stage chi condensation cultivator. This boy has an incredible physique. I wasn't seeing things, right? He actually shattered Elder Ma's Dao artifact. Hiss, this is the power of a sect elder? Not even the slightest fluctuation can be felt. Elder Ma remained calm on the surface, coughing lightly. Not bad. The spiritual medicine you consumed seems quite extraordinary. Inside, however, he felt a growing sense of panic. This punch, it's terrifying. Even in a hurried moment, I can feel a crisis approaching. My glazed jade bottle is still in the early stages of shaping. I haven't carved the divine runes or refined it, but it should still be enough to block attacks from chi condensation 6th stage. Young man, if you wish to join the sect, you must pass 3 tests. First, your aptitude. Second, your character. Third, your heart in seeking the Tao. Boy, do you wish to join my sword sect? The elders of my sect are my masters. I can take you in as a disciple, guide your cultivation in all aspects, and from now on, you can call me senior sister. Here it comes. If my zombie body gets exposed during the regular health check, I'll be done for. Only by standing out like this can they take me in directly as a disciple. The once high and mighty fairy Ziyu actually lowered herself to invite a mere mortal boy to be her junior disciple. This is the incomparable master sister Jiang Ziyu. You little fool. How could you possibly understand the weight of this invitation? When she was born, a purple star appeared in the sky, and purple chi came from the east, all entering Master Sister's dantian. She was born a cultivator, with innate purple chi constantly residing in her dantian. To solidify her foundation, the sect elders forcibly held her back from progressing in chi condensation for 10 years. If not for that, she would have already soared to the heavens, broken through to the golden core stage, and looked down on the heavenly monarchs. In Qingzhou, Master Sister couldn't stand the constant meddling of other blessed lands or holy grounds, nor the endless harassment from those filthy men. That's why she voluntarily requested to come to this desolate 10,000 mountain range to exterminate the corpse tide. Chi condensation is the lowest stage of cultivation, isn't it? Why was she forced to stay in this stage for 10 years? You'll understand once you enter the sect. A chi condensation cultivator, immortal as the gods. There's a saying among mortals, as long as a person has breath, they live, but it's all referring to the same chi. The natural chi that flows through the world has no attributes. To use it as your own, you must convert it into your body through your spiritual root. Common five-element spiritual roots can convert the chi of the five elements, while special spiritual roots can convert special chi. Master Sister's innate purple chi was born with the primal chaos and has existed in the world ever since. Even Golden Core experts have sought a wisp of her purple chi when refining tools. The Golden Core expert who used her purple chi to refine the purple mist sword was able to slay his enemies beyond his level. It's said that using innate purple chi as a foundation when establishing the core can. Alright, Junior Sister, we'll talk more about cultivation in detail another time. With that, Master Sister Z, you leaned closer to me and asked softly, Junior brother, have you made up your mind? If I join the sword sect under your tutelage, will my main focus be on the sword Tao? ZU, have you finished speaking? You're being a bit disrespectful to the elders. Young friend, there's also a special connection between us. Fate brought us together, so here, take this. It's the advanced body tempering technique, Flame Clam Chi Devouring Strike, perfect for your fire spiritual root. ZU, this technique is so tempting even to me, something I'd want to use to increase my chances of advancing to Golden Core, and you're just handing it over? Looks like the Sword Sect is trying to cultivate another genius to boost its influence and grab more resources within the sect. The Flame Clam spirit beast lives in magma, absorbing spiritual energy and refining it into a swirling vortex. Once mature, it grows to 100 meters and possesses Golden Core power. This technique encapsulates the essence of the Flame Clam's cultivation. The body tempering and cultivation speed are 5 times faster than basic techniques. After reaching a certain level, you can summon the Flame Clam's spirit shadow to protect your body. The image of the Flame Clam's vortex turning into the Fire Spirit Pearl can help you experience the Golden Core stage early, providing valuable insight into advancing to the Golden Core. Master Sister is so generous. She's even offering high-level techniques. There's really no reason to refuse. Why wasn't it me who got the transformation from the spiritual medicine? Is luck really greater than effort? This is bad. My jealousy is affecting my mental state. My foundation is becoming unstable. Cough, young friend. Think it over again. I see your clothes. It looks like your family's situation isn't great. If you join my sect, I can guarantee you wealth beyond measure, countless magical artifacts, connections everywhere, and smooth cultivation. Master of empty promises. May I ask which sect you belong to, Elder? Sister Wang yelled angrily. Are you trying to piss me off? The conditions of Master Sister are incomparable to those of the petty men who just want to get close to her. Countless talented individuals will bow before her. You're still considering the price. She grabbed my ear. Hurry up and agree. Elder Ma calmly replied. I'm from the refining sect. All right, I've made my choice. I'll be in your care, Elder Ma. Phew, you took this long to decide. You should have chosen Master Sister right away. This will be the best decision of your life. Wait, you chose Elder Ma? Why? You rejected me? I want to know why. If I say it, Master Sister won't take back the technique, right? I, Jiang, am not a petty person. Speak. Because, Master Sister, you'll never teach your disciples. You say I cannot teach disciples? How utterly ridiculous. A laughable claim, truly. Come now, no need to be so agitated. Take it easy. Since you're so curious, how about I share the introductory section of the technique that Senior Sister graciously bestowed upon me? Let everyone here see it for themselves. What do you say? There's no need for further probing. I already said it was a gift. Then I shall honor it as such and leave it entirely in your hands. Very well. Then let us all take a look together and explore the essence of this introductory chapter. Senior Sister, perhaps you could demonstrate the fundamentals of this technique yourself. Let us witness your brilliance firsthand, shall we? Since you doubt my ability to teach disciples, I'll show you exactly how one embarks on the path of cultivation. The art of chi refinement begins with mastering the flow of your inner energy. That's the very foundation of cultivation. Here, observe this diagram of the technique's energy circulation. Qi must rise from the dantian, the sea of energy, then flow through 36 major acupoints and 72 minor nodes throughout the body, forming the imagery of a fiery clam. That marks the first stage of initiation. With dedication, it takes but 3 days. 3 days. Senior sister, your talent is truly peerless. 1 in a million. Such perception and clarity. Astonishing. I wonder how long would the rest of you estimate for yourselves? Indeed, talents rise with each generation. Even with my foundation stage cultivation, I reckon it would take me at least 7 days to barely grasp the initial cycle of this technique. Why would it take that long? All it truly takes is the harmony of body and mind, the alignment of mind and intent, and the transformation of thought into spirit. Let that spirit traverse your entire form. When that inner cosmos begins to manifest, and you repeat this cycle with precision, within 3 days you'll forge the protective manifestation, the flame clam spirit shadow. That marks the threshold of minor mastery. I honestly didn't understand a word of that. Senior sister, your explanation is a bit too abstract. You've lost most of us. There are indeed many subtle hurdles hidden within. These can only be worn down through relentless effort, like ink slowly bleeding through paper, requiring time and patience. Zeus snapped in frustration. What's so hard about that? The problem lies with your lack of aptitude, not the technique. Senior sister, you're a natural-born genius. You simply can't comprehend how difficult it is for ordinary cultivators like us to make even the smallest breakthrough. Someone like Elder Ma, whose cultivation journey is closer to ours, would probably be a far more suitable teacher. Don't you all agree? That senior sister is dazzling, a beacon seen by all. Anyone who gets too close to her will surely draw unwanted attention. As for me, I think the elders of the Artifact Pavilion are impressive, but I feel more affinity toward the Alchemy Pavilion. It's always been where my heart lies. Besides, I've completed my task. Successfully, I might add. Time to draw the reward. Let's see what fate offers now. Loot draw result. Acquired special plant spirit, Devourer Bloom. Effect. Once per day, it can consume an enemy entirely and digest them. Digestion speed scales with the target's level. Evolution Stage 1, Adamant Devourer Bloom *, doubled digestion speed. Locked. Evolution Stage 2, Savage Devourer Bloom. After consuming an enemy, it can still launch additional devour attacks. Locked. Evolution Stage 3, Unknown Mutation. Yet to be discovered. Just as I was examining the details, a sudden jolt hit me. My connection with the zombie body triggered an alarming fluctuation. My eyes widened in shock. I stared ahead in disbelief. What on earth is that? Right then, I saw it. An enormous spaceship emerging from the sky, slicing through the clouds like a blade tearing fabric. Before I could even react, the vessel locked onto the ground and unleashed a barrage, directly firing its cannons. Boom! The thunderous explosion erupted, tearing through the silence like an angry god's roar. The blast wave surged outward, a violent tempest of force crashing toward me like a collapsing mountain. This is bad, I shouted in panic. Without hesitation, I slammed my hand into the earth, activating burrowing techniques to dig a makeshift shelter, barely managing to throw myself inside. Even after hiding, unease clawed at me. I gulped down 10 spirit sunflowers for quick recovery and hastily planted 10 layers of defensive nuts, just in case the next strike came harder. I remained hidden beneath the earth, buried under layers of hardened defensive nuts, shielding me tightly from above. Suddenly, another shell exploded overhead, a thunderous blast that shook the ground violently. Curled up and trembling, my thoughts raced. What kind of weapon is this? Could there really be nuclear warheads in this world? As soon as the tremors ceased, I scrambled out of my hiding hole. The surface had been utterly ravaged, scorched and torn beyond recognition. Then, from the skies above, a massive shadow plummeted toward the ground, a gigantic bird crashing down with a heavy thud. I stared in disbelief. The creature had already died midair, its wings limp, its body unmoving. I cautiously approached, watching for any signs of life, but the giant bird remained lifeless and still. A thought suddenly struck me like lightning. Why not try planting that devourer bloom I just drew? Now was the perfect time to test it. Without hesitation, I summoned the flower. Its twisted petals unfurled ominously, reaching toward the fallen bird. Then it began to devour it inch by inch. I beamed with delight. What an unexpected windfall. This turned out better than I could have imagined. I stiffened. Without hesitation, I dispatched a zombie scout to stealthily approach the core area and assess the situation. What it saw stunned me. A beautiful girl, lying motionless on the ground, as if peacefully asleep. Wait a second. Isn't that the same little girl who appeared in the sky during the corpse tide outbreak? I'd suspected it before, that she might be a high-level corpse king, perhaps even the very origin of the undead eruption itself. But never did I imagine she could unleash an attack on par with a nuclear blast. She obliterated an entire spaceship. Is she dead? No, she's not. This cultivation world is beyond terrifying. If she wakes up, I wouldn't survive even a heartbeat. Disguising myself as a zombie might fool some dim-witted creatures, but not her. There's no way. Could planting another devourer bloom against a monster of this caliber even make a difference? Or would it be like throwing a leaf at a raging storm? Screw it. Fortune favors the bold. I clenched my teeth and summoned another devourer bloom, praying it might just tip the odds. But in that very instant, the girl's eyes snapped open. Cold, ethereal, unfathomably deep, like a slumbering deity awakening from eons of stillness. A chill shot down my spine. I'm doomed. My mind screamed in panic, and my body froze in raw fear. Even my soul trembled. The little girl gently raised her delicate hand, and I instinctively ducked back into hiding, terror coursing through every vein. As her hand drew nearer, closer than breath, I was already trembling uncontrollably, fear overwhelming every inch of me. System notification. New plant species detected. Would you like to harvest it now? Seriously? Who has time for this right now? Fine, fine. Just collect it already. Then, without warning, the girl summoned a colossal corn. No, more accurately, a combat corn that radiated explosive energy. It crashed beside me with devastating force, blasting open a massive crater as debris rained down around me. I dropped to my knees, staring at my trembling hands, half in disbelief. I'm still alive. Just as I tried to process my narrow escape, I looked around. She was gone, vanished without a trace. System alert. You've unlocked a new feature set. Manor access, plant compendium, zombie bestiary, and territory. Desolate highlands, daytime. So that's what happened. She entered my system manor directly? What kind of absurdly overpowered being is this girl? The little girl turned her gaze outward, eyes wide in astonishment. That ability, it's my master's power. You actually inherited it. Then, sorrow clouded her expression. Her voice softened, trembling. So, master truly perished in the end. So this hybrid system was transferred to me only after the previous owner's demise? A system this powerful, and even they couldn't survive? There's got to be a deeper conspiracy behind all of this. Something dark, hidden, massive. Why didn't Master take me along? She murmured, grief overflowing in every syllable. Why was I left behind? With danger momentarily gone, I switched back to my main body. A bitter realization hit me. Maybe I was far too naive. I'd thought that with a system and a few plants, I could just survive in a corner and eventually become invincible. But now, maybe this endless corpse tide was once the previous owner's cultivated monsters. Even the devastating corn nuke cannon couldn't withstand a spaceship strike. The former system wielder died just like that. This cultivation world is terrifying beyond belief. I must keep this system hidden, push my strength to new heights, whatever it takes to stay alive. Suddenly, Senior Sister Ziyue's panicked voice rang out. Something's coming. In the distance, a spirit vessel approached rapidly. It was the scouting vessel our sect had sent to probe the corpse tide's core. But when it came into view, shock swept through us. Those were the acting sect leader and several nascent soul elders, even with nascent soul-tier spirit beasts and a top-tier spirit vessel. They'd returned in shambles. Just then, a voice rang out from the ship. Jiang Ziyue, we have uncovered the truth behind the corpse tide. After battling a formidable enemy for 5,000 rounds, we've returned victorious, but we require time to recover. As the senior disciple, you shall assume the position of acting sect leader. Ziyue bowed deeply, her tone firm and respectful. Disciple accepts the command. I shall not fail the sect. Meanwhile, I stood there utterly speechless. Come on. Seriously? I spent all that effort scheming just to barely earn the title of inner disciple. And you just got promoted to acting sect master overnight? And wait a second, weren't you guys just blasted away by a single cannon shot? That whole glorious return thing feels kinda off. Before I could sort out my thoughts, one of the elders grabbed my sleeve. Come, return with me to the sect. Entering the artifact pavilion is a fortune bestowed by destiny itself. In the next moment, a majestic crane descended from the skies, its wings shimmering with spiritual energy. I climbed onto its back, overwhelmed by awe. So this is a cultivation sect, a true paradise, a celestial realm, just like those novels said. Resolute, I made a mental note. I must replant more spirit sunflowers. The more synthesis plants I grow, the stronger I become. Maybe one day I'll command 100 of them. With this system at my side, I won't be weaker than anyone else. But still, caution is survival. Until I completely solve the mystery of my undead revival state, I must remain hidden and vigilant. Most importantly, I must uncover the truth behind the corpse tide and learn how the previous system holder died. There might be more legacy waiting for me, like this, nuke-launching monstrosity, for instance. The little girl glared at me, her voice icy and sharp. You're nothing more than a contingency, just a pawn for Master's resurrection, and once he sees how you've imprisoned me within this manner, he'll tear you limb from limb. Meanwhile, in a grand and ancient hall, a supreme elder spoke solemnly. The corpse tide within the 10,000 mountain range has erupted once more. The inheritance of the heavenly lord of the long river is about to surface. Seek your fortunes, if fate permits. 3 years since initiation, and you've reached foundation establishment. With no holy sun emerging, you are now the brightest prodigy of our divine radiance sect. Other sects across the eastern wastelands have already dispatched their champions. You are hereby granted a spirit beast, the 9-headed serpent demon. Make haste, seize the heavenly lord's legacy. Yes, elder. Disciple Chun Yaojie obeys the command. At the same time, my zombie body turned to the little girl and muttered, Hey, let's call it a deal. Come on, help me out here. You live in my manor. Protecting me is basically protecting yourself too, right? The girl simply crossed her arms and snorted coldly, exuding aloof disdain. She didn't even bother to reply. I sighed heavily. 3 days now and still no response. Communication is completely impossible. If she'd only be willing to fight for me, she'd be my ultimate trump card, unstoppable. Just then, the girl enveloped herself in a mysterious energy cocoon, sealing herself away inside a strange protective sphere. I stared in stunned confusion. What the hell is she doing now? Forget it. Time to get back to work. I activated my second manner, and the power boost was immediate. Time to mass plant spirit sunflowers again. But just as the first sprout appeared, the little girl nonchalantly devoured it in one bite. I stared in disbelief. Seriously, she just ate it. Undeterred, I pulled out a devourer bloom and casually tossed it over. What about this one? Hungry. But the girl simply raised her dainty little foot and kicked it away with utter disinterest. The devourer bloom soared off like a projectile, whizzing right over my zombie body's shoulder. And then boom, a sudden explosion erupted where it landed. Heh, if she accepts being fed, there's a chance to tame her. And the way she casually kicks plants off-screen, if used cleverly, that might just become a hidden weapon in itself. Just as I was savoring that idea, a warning pinged from my clone. Huh? Again? These guys really haunt me like ghosts. Sure enough, angry shouts followed. Wong, you bastard! Come out! If you've got the guts to sneak into the sect, then open the damn door. You dare defend the acting sect master? You won't even get to drink spiritual juice again. 3 days ago, I was brought into the sect by Elder Ma himself. He casually tossed an old book my way. Here, basic insights into artifact refining. Study it on your own. I've got more pressing matters to attend to. You'll be staying in the outer quarters for now. Hey, what the hell? That's it. You're seriously just dumping me here? I'm switching to another elder's tutelage. Elder Ma's expression darkened instantly, fury flashing across his face. Do you think this is a game? The sect has called an emergency meeting for all elders. It's 10 times more urgent than your little tantrum. He threw me a waste token. Take this. It grants you full access to every area in the outer sect. Scripture Pavilion, Spirit Beast Garden, Herb Fields. Go explore to your heart's content. Happy now? I gave an exaggerated bow, smiling brightly. Of course, Elder. You handle the important matters. I've been cooking since I was a kid, I won't starve. Please, go save the world. But chaos had already begun to ripple through the sect. Rumors spread like wildfire across every peak. Did you hear? Elder Ma from the Artifact Pavilion abused his authority. Accepted some penniless bumpkins straight into the inner sect. Why does he get to skip the outer sect trials? I've been hauling water for 10 years and haven't even been promoted yet. And he even dared provoke the acting sect master? That's the most gifted and stunning senior sister in the entire sect. Who the hell does he think he is? Truly, even in sacred lands like this, shadows of jealousy and bitterness lurk behind every smile. I pushed open my door and stepped outside, only to be greeted by a wall of dagger-like glares from surrounding disciples. Well, you finally dared to show your face. We thought you'd curled up and died in there. What a grand entrance. Joining the sect without even greeting your seniors. How dare you? What punishment do you think that warrants? I glanced around, sneering coldly. I thought a righteous sect like this would be filled with soaring spirit beasts. Turns out, all I see are swarms of buzzing flies like you. Humph. You dare insult your fellow disciples? Killing you right here would be perfectly justified. If you want to keep surviving in this sect, you'd better bow your head and apologize while you still can. I narrowed my eyes, voice laced with disdain. You've come with a purpose, then speak. Otherwise, get lost. Don't waste my time or disturb my cultivation. Still acting tough, huh? You'll only start begging on your knees when death is already at your doorstep. I slowly pulled out a scroll. So you came for this, didn't you? The technique gifted to me by senior sister Jiang Ziyue. Flame clam chi swallowing art. Exactly. One of them snarled. That's a high-grade technique, usable all the way to the core formation stage. A penniless brat like you has no right to possess it. Hand it over quietly, and we'll protect you in Bichuan sect. You scratch our back, we scratch yours. I chuckled coldly. You lot are no different from a pack of stray dogs. One kick per head, and you'd all be groveling in the dirt. You're dead, brat! One of them roared in rage. Not even the heavens can save you now. Wait, hold on. A voice suddenly rang out from the crowd. Brothers, do me a favor. Let this matter go. I'm Chi Yujo from the Alchemy Pavilion. Please, don't make things difficult for him. Chi Yujo? The new core disciple of the Alchemy Pavilion? Rumor has it he's the most gifted alchemist in 30 years, can already refine top-grade foundation pills while still at Chi condensation stage. Besides, junior brother Wang's induction was jointly approved by the acting sect master and Elder Ma of the Artifact Pavilion. It's not for us to question. If there's a real grievance between disciples, why not settle it fair and square during the sect tournament next month? Fine. We'll let it slide, for your sake. Let's go. We'll see you on the battlefield. Brat, Just a mid-tier fire root loser with a bit of luck. You think you can overturn the heavens? Chi Yujo turned and smiled politely. Nice to meet you. I'm Chi Yujo, disciple of Elder One from the Alchemy Pavilion. I nodded in return. Thanks for stepping in. Aren't you worried they'll come after you next? He shrugged calmly. They're nothing but barking dogs. The real danger is the one behind them. Asterisk the Wolf Prince star. I blinked in confusion. Wolf Prince? Never heard of him. The prince of the heavenly wolf nation carries the bloodline of the ancient celestial wolves. He's not just a mere inner disciple. He's a core disciple of the highest rank. At just 16 years old, he's already reached Chi condensation level 9. A peerless prodigy in every sense. Chi Yujo suddenly lowered his voice and leaned in slightly. I'll speak plainly. My master, Elder One, was gravely injured while investigating the corpse tide. He needs a sacred elixir to survive. If you're willing to help me acquire it, then I'll take care of the mess with the Wolf Prince for you.